Hi. Recently, I got a question from a customer around Centrify Report Services. He's unable to edit the reports. And I figured I'd give you a quick overview of report services and then we answer the question. So, what is report services? So, if you're familiar with Centrify, you know that if you're using Centrify Server Suite, all the information about um, computers, Unix identity, roles, rights across Unix, Linux, and Windows are stored in Active Directory. So, using Active Directory, which is an LDAP enabled directory, as a report is not a good idea. Um, Customers that have been around for a long time notice that in Access Manager, we used to generate reports, but they were super slow, right? So sometime maybe like 5 years ago, we released report services. You can learn all about it by just typing in your favorite search engine, Centrify Report Services, and it'll come up with this. So in a nutshell, report services consists of a sync service and a database. And this database can be SQL Server or it can be Postgres. And to show you my demo environment, this is the sync service configuration. And ultimately, what you can configure here is uh, things like how do you are going to monitor information. So there's two ways to do this. You could do it by using replicating, an account with replicating directory changes. That's typically not a good idea. So you can monitor in the individual Centrify zones. That's probably the best way to do it. You can specify which domain controllers. Maybe you have a service domain controller global catalog that you can use, how often, and your service account. And there's additional options here, but the key is that you end up with uh, you know with the information in a database in SQL. So I've launched report services. This is a slightly older version of SQL SSRS. And if you're using the SQL Server version, you have the benefit that we offer the sample website that has the reports. So two types of reports, SOX and PCI, they're effectively the same. And going to the question, right, the customer asked me, and this is a very useful report. So I'm gonna show you. This is basically rights by group, and I'm gonna exclude graphics here and just do view report and basically show a zone that has some information. So what this report shows is by Active Directory group. For example, if I look at this one, it says I have a group called alternative accounts. It doesn't have any nested groups. It grants login to all these machines at the zone level, and it was assigned to obviously the alternative accounts group. But it goes and shows you granularly, for example, in this case, this is a Linux machine, and alternative accounts have the ability to run any command as root. In Windows, they have the ability to launch an administrative desktop without MFA. So this is amazing because you can point to an AD group and basically find out what machines they have access to, what can they do, and what's the target of the assignment. This is super powerful, and we can do this cross platforms. The benefit of using something like SSRS means that you can, have these reports run automatically, maybe send it by email, or maybe put it on a file share. So this saves a lot of time to infrastructure folks or security administrators to generate attestation information. You could get very creative and use this database as an intermediate step to get attestation data to other systems, like SailPoint, for example. But that requires integration. So let's go to the nitty-gritty of the question. So this is a little bit silly, but it happened to me as well. So when you look at the report, perhaps I want to edit it, but notice that I don't have the ability to edit. In order for you to get around this, you need to go to where report services is, right-click, right? And you have to run it as administrator. For example, I'm not going to use any of the Centrify elevation mechanisms because this user has administrator power. This is kind of like my management machine, but you could run with privilege with token manipulation, or you could use in a future release. I'm previewing something new here. You could use your alternative account, but I'm going to run it just normally as administrator here. And there's going to be a difference now. So if I go into my report, I can and let's just look at it by group, I can now see the edit and report builder. And one of the cool things that I did was that the default report didn't have a picker, so I added a picker to mine. So I don't have to navigate multiple pages. So let me see by group, and let's go ahead and launch it. If I go my global zone, so notice that, and I don't think this is the login reports. I'm looking at the rights report by group. So this shows you that I'm losing my eyesight as well. But this is what I did. I went to edit and report builder, and not being very good with reports, the GUI was really good to me. So I was able to look at the parameters and P group name. I modified it and I put the available values like my alternative accounts, my JIT, and my MFA rescue. So the end result is that when I launch this report, actually by group, and I pick the proper zone and everything, now I can toggle between them. So notice that it only has one page. The one before had 3 pages, but I can toggle, and it just has like a nice menu, so I can take a look. So this is great for an attestation exercise, right? Or if you're doing something different. But the key here is, in summary, if you want to be able to edit the reports, you want to shift right click, and it'll expose the right menu. And provided that you have the report builder, you'll be able to edit them. And I'm hoping that this video helps. I mean, sometimes simple things like this can get us stumped.